Hey guys, I'm so glad I didn't speak about Arsenal away at Port Vale any sooner than right now. I recorded a podcast a little earlier speaking about this game, and my view is very different. And I'm glad I didn't respond immediately because I was getting frustrated with how Arsenal were, you know, playing in front of the team. Like meaning that the back line had most of the ball for too long in that game. The back line. And this happens a lot in Arsenal games, right? People just stand off and they let the back three, back four players pass the ball to each other. And that can be frustrating. But in this particular instance, and I think this is why it's important to look at things game to game instead of carrying feelings from previous things. And yes, it's important to look at patterns, but I think it's also important to look at things game by game. 9 changes in this game. A midfield that hadn't played together. And then you have Saka getting his second kind of game in about a few days after being gone for, a month and a bit or 2 months or whatever it's been. And then at center forward, you had Mikel Merino. He vacated that position a lot. Partly because I think the block was a little bit congested and he needed to kind of get out of there to try and find other ways around that. And so we're playing outside of the block of Port Vale, which made sense. But the key thing for me in this game is minutes in Ben White's legs, minutes in Norgard's legs, minutes for Kepa for the first time in a meaningful game, minutes for Saka, minutes for Saliba. And the infield players especially, they're going to be very important between now and, and hopefully they all stay fit, and those who are fit and been playing a lot, stay fit, because Ben White being fit means then Timber is not overburdened like he had to be last season. And Ben White obviously missed a lot of last season because he'd been overburdened before. And so for me, the key thing here is players returning and getting through that 90 minutes or 70 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever the time allocation was, and getting through that fitness exercise unscathed. That for me is the big win. Of course, getting through was the most important thing, and that was done too. So I think Arsenal can be happy with themselves, even though the performance wasn't pretty, but there's a lot of pieces that are being integrated here. So I'm not going to worry about performance, but rather about fitness and availability.